Welcome, everybody, to the Hampton Roads BizWheel Quarterly Expo. On behalf of the Hampton Roads Innovation Collaborative and StartWheel, I am Tim Ryan. Thank you to all of our sponsors to make this happen. Thank you to the Hive for hosting us, the City of Virginia Beach for supporting business and entrepreneurship. This is a cool event. This event is sold out. It's sold out twice. I asked Dan to release more tickets this morning. I didn't get my way. But the demand is there. When we first started talking about doing this 6 months ago, we thought, man, it'd be great if we can get 40, 50 people here. But again, we sold out. I mean, 100 people at this event. It's awesome. Thank you for joining us. The whole idea, this is quarterly. Last quarter, we did this on the peninsula. We were at 757 Makerspace featuring Bo Turner. Tonight, we're here. We're going to talk about DroneUp. But the whole idea is bring people to a location that they otherwise may never have been to, expose you to a company that you may otherwise have never been exposed to, build that network density so that we all can get to know one another, see one another. It's us that is going to rise this business community up. It's going to put us on the map. So thank you for joining us here today. Super pumped about DroneUp being here. They're a unicorn. They are a unicorn in this area. From a VC standpoint, they're going to get there. I know they're going to get there. I've seen so many companies. I know it's going to happen, but they're a unicorn in this area in the sense of they're creating an industry. They're a company that can anchor this region. People are now searching Hampton Roads. They're searching Virginia Beach. They're relocating from Austin. They're relocating from the Silicon Valley. They're putting us on the map. We need to support DroneUp. And this is the rising tide that is going to raise this region. So we need to back them up. With that said,
I'm going to take a couple of crowd pictures real quick. If you're not supposed to be here, send me a note. Close out your faces for a negotiated house.
I want to steal the highlights, but thank you all for being here. Welcome to the Hive, Virginia Beach Business Resource Center. We help startups, existing businesses. We do workforce attraction and development, and thank you for all being here. We're so proud to have DroneUp as a VB company. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. So that said, Tom, the floor is yours.
So while she's getting that up, throughout tonight, I want to share a couple of things that we've learned. And one of the cool things is building a company like this in Hampton Roads is different. It's challenging. And I'll tell you, I give so many talks a year, and I say I have to do this. But this is one I actually feel like I get to do. Thank you for letting me do this, and thanks for being a part of the community. How many of you here have heard of us? No. How many? Okay. Now, I want you to be honest on the next thing I'm going to ask you. How many of you know that DroneUp received a 9-figure investment, the largest investment ever made into a drone company in history? Not very many of you, right? How many of you know that DroneUp has signed the largest drone services contract that's ever been signed in history, another 9-figure contract? A handful of you. Why do the rest of you not know that? Because we don't talk about it. We have a little bit of a motto that we have in our company, and it's be confident but not arrogant. Proud but not arrogant, confident but not cocky, and don't tell others how you're better, tell them how you're different, and let them figure out if you're better. We don't brag about the amount of money we raised. We don't brag about the number of contracts. We don't brag about the number of people that we hired. You know what we brag about? I'll tell you the things we're proud of. We have grown 1,700% in the last year. Think about that. If you were going through it, you wouldn't be applauding. It stresses everything. It stresses your financial infrastructure, your technology infrastructure, your people, human resources, marketing, sleep, family, relationships. It stresses everything that you can possibly go through. But in that 1,700% growth, we've had a 98% retention rate. 26% of our employees are veterans or spouses of veterans, and we are 53% diverse across our workforce. That's the things that we're proud of, and that's the things that we brag about. So what happened? Why did this little company explode by accident? The pandemic. When the pandemic hit, there were a couple of things that happened. People couldn't go out and do inspections. They couldn't go climb the towers. They couldn't inspect the rooftops. They couldn't do the things they needed to do to stay in compliance with government regulations because they couldn't send people out to do it. And suddenly, for the first time, they said, well, let's give drones a try. And in that first 9 months after the pandemic hit, our business grew 1,004%. It was the craziest thing that ever happened. Everybody's probably seen our building, the sign on the building. It looks a lot nicer on the outside than it is on the inside, but that's okay. We're still proud of where we are, and we're proud to be part of the Virginia Beach ecosystem. And recently, as many of you may have heard, we launched a training facility at Richard Bland College. It's the largest, first of its kind, and largest drone operator training facility in the United States. And it's just incredible to see the cohorts coming through there and then distributing throughout the United States as we continue to grow. What you may not know about us is, I tell people all the time that we're a technology company first. John Vernon, our Chief Technology Officer, please stand up. Of all of the technologies that we have, the 10 patents that we have, the software we're going to talk about, John and his team have led that. Joe Fuller was our first CIO, employee number 2, right there, now retired. So these two started it. Joe likes to say he built the software. John says he made it work. But now in our software, we have 55,000 operators. Think about that, independent drone operators in our system. And you can see the other specs. What's interesting here, and I'm going to brag a little bit on this one. So I have one competitor on the delivery side, and we're going to talk a little bit about the difference. Anybody know who my number one competitor is? Amazon, right? So when we got this contract and we got this investment, I brought the team together, all 6 of us at the time. 6, we're 550 today, crazy, right? I said, here's the good news. We got this massive investment. We got this massive contract. We only have one competitor we have to beat, and it's Amazon. And you want to talk about bittersweet emotional contrast in the room, it was really cool. So that's my number one competitor. Today, Hampton Roads, Virginia, our company competes against Amazon for last mile drone delivery. That is our race. That's our partnership requirement with Walmart. Now, here's the cool thing. 3 months ago, Amazon announced that by the end of 2025, they were going to have 32 delivery locations throughout the United States. Today, we have 26, and by the end of the year, we'll have 34. So we already are delivering to more customers per day than Walmart, well, most of them combined, actually. Here's a cool little factoid. DroneUp is the only company in the United States doing store-to-door delivery in less than 30 minutes, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day from a list of over 10,000 products. We are delivering to 4 million customers. We're the only company that's doing that. Again, I say that because we're a Hampton Roads company. It's going to get cool in a minute. Hang on. Go ahead. All right, so here's a little video. I'll just let this play. This shows the hub. I'll talk a little bit through it. If you can play it. Can you play it? Is that Michael? That's Michael, right? That location you just saw is Store 100. It's the Walmart headquarters. What's interesting about our relationship with Walmart is it is the first time Walmart has ever co-branded a vendor facility with Walmart's name on it. And they did it at Store 100, which is the corporate headquarters store. And so we're really excited about that. No, we've seen this. Have y'all seen this?
Show it again, Tom.
So this one is just interesting. What I wanted to show you is a lot of people ask us how drone delivery works, right? That's a kind of a common question. We take it for granted because we do it every day, right? But this is an example of our technologies and what we built. So this right here is a tower. It rises up. It puts the pilot's eyes at about 33 feet. That gives us a longer view, a longer line of sight view so that we can see better. Inside the tower, although the video is not running here, I don't know why, if you can fix that. But anyway, we gave you a video up here that shows you the inside of the tower. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the software in a minute because I know there's a lot of people here who are in IT, so you're going to dig that software. But this is where the pilot operates out of here. Out of here is what we call the hub, or maybe now we call it the Pilot Operations Center. That's what it says right there. So I'm going to go with that.
Heard it here first.
Apparently we've changed the name of that. But the part I want to show you is right here, because if you can't hardly see it, but right there, that's Walmart, and that's DroneUp, and that's in neon, and they did that, and that's really cool. For us, that was a really big deal when they decided to go. There you go. So you get a picture kind of view of what the pilot views and how the operations. This drone right here, I'll try to answer a couple of questions. That's very similar to this drone. This is our V2 drone right here. Carries about 15 pounds. We limit it to 10 pounds for regulatory purposes. And we deliver right now out to about a mile, 1.2, 1.3 miles. We're expanding that to 2 miles in December 19th. But just to give you a perspective, that's what a typical Walmart installation looks like that our operators operate out of every day. I could have John come up here and talk about the technology, but we don't have enough time. And you might have questions about it, but just know that this is without a doubt, and I can say this with John in the room, the most sophisticated and most advanced unmanned aerial delivery system on the planet today. And we are operating these out of Walmarts and out of other locations and delivering. It can deliver, like I said, it flies at about 200 feet when it's in transit. It delivers from 80 feet, and it's 65 decibels when it's delivering, which, just so you understand, when you think about noise profiles, is less than a UPS truck driving down the street in front of your house. That's how quiet they are. So one of the things that people always ask is, you'll notice that we're shifting our term from drone pilot to drone operator. There's a reason for that. And it's not because we don't want them to be referred to as pilots. It's because it's really the software and the technology that makes this work. So our software operates and creates a fully autonomous delivery route, meaning when the address comes in, the person places the order goes into the system immediately determines the route for the drone, the best route to fly to minimize flight over people, minimize flight over a moving vehicle, and then it immediately takes that package and takes it straight in the most efficient and best route to the house, lowers down to 80 feet and delivers the package. And we can operate as many of those with this software as we want because it'll automatically deconflict all of those drones within the airspace. So that's how we do the delivery. A lot of people will tell you, if you talk to drone people, will say it's autonomous delivery. What that really means is they're putting waypoints in and then they're hitting go and it's flying a waypoint route. Ours doesn't. It builds its own route, it flies its own route, it does its own delivery. The operator is there simply to intervene if something were to go wrong. This is a good view of how that software looks. This is what the operator up in that tower is looking at, but this is also what we can be looking back at home at headquarters. We could be monitoring all the operations around the world and see these videos, both the in-flight video and the ground video. Oh, well, she didn't push the button, but it had cool animation to it and everything, so. You're not doing well with this. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, How many of you heard of Call of Duty? So this is one of the coolest things we've done, and I hope it has sound, because this is an actual TV commercial and social media commercial that was created in partnership with DroneUp, Walmart, and the creators of Call of Duty.
Mr. Red Bull here.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because when Amy, who was handling our marketing, Amy's here by the way, sent me the video, I was like, holy cow, you killed it on this one. And I know it was the hardest thing for her ever to say is I didn't do this one, but it was really good. This is another one we just did. People ask how we connect to the drones, right? So we connect with our drones over multiple LTE channels. So we have 4 SIMs in our drones. They're bonded together so we can have multiple carriers, so we have reliable carrier. We are partnering with some of the bigger names in the industry yeah, go ahead and play it, to actually be able to test and move forward with 5G technology. So this we just did in Utah with Red Bull at 5,000 feet.
There you go. Hop on that motocross bike.
Yeah. So that's some of the cool things we get to do. I tell people sometimes, and I mean it tongue in cheek, kinda, is that some days my job's cooler than yours. But generally, I'm not the one out doing that. I'm sitting in behind a desk. So people ask why we like drones. Look, the reality is we are delivering in under 30 minutes. I want to think about that for a minute. From the time the order is placed until the package is delivered is less than 30 minutes. Right now, today, already, we're doing that. That fundamentally changes impulse buying. And you say, okay, well, that's great, but you can only carry 10 pounds or 15 pounds. But 80% of all of the packages that are delivered by USPS and Amazon and the other parcel carriers today, 80% of them weigh less than 8 pounds, which means drones can already deliver 80% of what you're having delivered. And if you think about it, we can do it cheaper. So you can have it delivered in 1 day, or you can have it delivered in 30 minutes. So much so that we and our partners are changing the name of it from drone delivery to instant delivery. That's what you're going to start hearing it called. We're just going to take drone out of the picture. And I'm almost done. Last one. So what is the last mile? What's the last mile? If you guys haven't had a chance to see Spot in person, I've seen him like a dozen times. It's really cool the first time. And then after that, it's Spot. But what you're going to see change over the next 5 to 7 years is the last mile is going to completely revolutionize. How's that going to happen? Well, we're already seeing a continual increase, 12 to 16% year over year of home delivery of products that we would normally go to the store to see. The problem is more cars on the road, more damage to infrastructure that's already woefully unfunded, and we can't just keep building more roads and expanding more roads. We're going to have to become more efficient. One of the quickest ways to do that is take the product off the road and put it in the air. So what you're going to see is a triangle, and if you're looking to invest into crazy stuff, I will tell you what that triangle is going to look like. That last mile triangle is going to be drones, autonomous vehicles, and electric vehicles. It's going to be by the air when you can, by autonomous vehicle when it needs to be other than air, and electric vehicle when it needs to go further than what the autonomous vehicles can drive them. That's the last mile over the next 5 to 10 years, and we're already starting to see that. And then there's Spot. I don't know why my people put Spot in this slide, but I think he's pretty cool. Any questions? Yes, sir. How many people know what the most popular product that we deliver is? If you've heard, don't say it. So some of you know, right? Number one, Hamburger Helper.
There you go.
We don't have. Number two, mac and cheese. And then three, it gets a little crazy. Now, there is actually a fundamental reason why that I now know of why it's Hamburger Helper and why it's mac and cheese. Believe it or not, there's a real reason, a real answer for this. If you come home at night and you need to feed your family and you can't go out, you got a sick child, you've got a angry mother-in-law, I'm just thinking about my situation, whatever it is, you got a couple of options. You can order it to be delivered, which the average takeout order delivered by Grubhub and all the other carriers is $37. Or you can have Hamburger Helper delivered, and the total price with the Hamburger Helper and the delivery fee is $8.99. So go home and order a Hamburger Helper tonight. Good. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk about the average cost of that last mile delivery that for DroneUp versus Amazon?
I can. Well, here's what I will tell you. So the magic number for last mile delivery, the holy grail is sub $7. Right now, if you lived 1 mile from a Walmart and you go onto the Walmart website and you order a product, that product doesn't come from that Walmart. Today, it comes from a distribution center that's probably 7 or 8 miles away, and it costs $7 to get you that product, no matter what you pay for delivery. Same with Amazon. That free delivery, they're subsidizing the cost of the product, or they're subsidizing and losing profit margin to do the delivery to you. So the real key is which one of these delivery mechanisms gives us a real path to sub $7 delivery. And we, as we brief our partners just today, we have a path to sub $7 delivery in the next 2 years. And there's really no other mechanism that'll be able to achieve that as quickly. And I'm not just saying just us. I just don't run any other drone companies right now. But this drone company's got a path to sub $7 delivery. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I know that you had mentioned before that currently you deliver within a mile and you're looking to move that to 2 miles.
Right.
But in the future, how far do you think you would be able to deliver?
It's a great question, and I should have addressed that. Thank you. So right now, by regulation, we're limited to line of sight. A line of sight's an interesting thing. Can I see it? I can see it. It's kind of like my friend who says he has a ferret. I've never seen it, but he says he has a ferret, right? So it becomes really a question of what you can see. Today, we are limited to that line of sight, but we've come up with solutions and ways around extending that the FAA has approved. Now, that said, legislation is now moving through Congress for the first time, we have a set of regulatory affairs that John Vernon and the team actually helped write, worked with the FAA to write this new set of rules. And this new set of rules is moving through Congress right now that will enable us to fly beyond visual line of sight with no restrictions on distance. That's sooner than we ever thought. We were thinking 2025, 2026, that's what we were thinking. We're now thinking 2023, 2024. Once that goes into place, which it will, and it will happen, we'll be able to fly as far as we want. Now, here's what's interesting. And this is why our relationship with Walmart is so important. This is why we're important to Walmart, Walmart's important to us. 92% of the US population lives within 10 miles of a Walmart. We already have the capability to fly 10 miles with the drones. The only thing standing between us and that is this regulatory issue, which we finally are getting worked out, which means that within 2 years, if we continue to perform and have our relationship with Walmart, and Walmart stays around and doesn't go out of business, if those two things happen, we will be able to deliver to 92% of the U.S. population by drone, including everybody in this room. Yes, ma'am.
With the dense population of military here, are you allowed to fly in the military airspace over bases and such?
It's a great question. There are places where we aren't allowed to fly. You know, we have established such. With the military, with all the military in the area, is there issues with us being able to fly? And the answer is not really, because we have, I think one of the slides said it, we have over 100 waivers. So we have such a reputation with the FAA and a reputation with the military that we work with them to let us fly in their airspace in a manner that is safe and effective. I mean, there's certain areas we can't fly, but most of those are not where the residents are.
One of our delivery locations right now is within Oceana airspace.
Yeah, that's right. We actually are delivering in Oceana airspace right now. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you're answering this probably as you're going along, but what's your competitive advantage? Like, what stops UPS and FedEx from pouring $100 million into it to catch up?
We BS a lot better than they do. They're publicly traded, so they have to tell the truth all the time. No, I'm just kidding. So I'll tell you. And this is something that I attribute to the team. By the way, all the DroneUp people who are here, WebTechs, I almost said it, all the DroneUp people who are here, raise your hand, please, so we know. These are the just amazing members of the team. Some have been here a month, some have been here years. There's a couple of different answers to that. One of the things that we're proud of is our two leading competitors. You know who one of them is. The other one, you search their search engine a lot. Between the two of them have spent about $5 billion on their drone programs. It's public. You can look it up. We're out delivering them. We out-deliver them by weight, we out-deliver them by distance, we out-deliver them by volume, we out-deliver them by the number of operations, we out-deliver them through our technology, we out-deliver them through our software. We've spent $100 million. Why? Part of that is coming from Hampton Roads, where you didn't have an unlimited checkbook, right? We didn't just have unlimited amounts of funds. But the other reason was we took a little different approach. If you're in the drone world, you probably know what Part 107 is, right? Part 107 is basically the simple man's way to fly drones. It's true. Everybody else assumed that you had to be an air carrier, that you had to be Part 135. And they all went down that route of building drones that could be certified to FAA standards and meet this airline certification standard. We didn't know any better, is the truth today. We just said, why don't we just go start doing deliveries with drones? And we started doing it under Part 107. We didn't have to be an airline. We didn't have to have type certified drones. We didn't have to have $1 million equipment. We just did it. And then everybody called the FAA. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody called the FAA and said, hey, these dudes are out doing delivery under Part 107. They can't do that. And 5 days later, Jay Merkel, who was the head of the Unmanned Systems Integration Office for the FAA, wrote an FAA circular that said, absolutely, you can. And everybody went, shit. And we're still doing it today. Yes, sir.
It's a question on the future expansion. Do you have a vision for maybe starting to deliver to vessels at sea? I could use that on occasion on my submarine.
Yeah, submarine delivery is a little more challenging. Yeah. You know, we're always looking at the next, this beyond visual line of sight legislation, when it changes everything, right? Our next generation drone, not this one, this is V2. If you haven't had a chance to come touch it or play with it, feel free. This is V2. Our next generation drone, which is going to be launching in Q1 of next year, has a 40-mile range, 15-mile capacity, flies for 2 hours. We're launching that intentionally to be able to start doing those long-range deliveries beyond visual line of sight. We're already planning ahead, so we'll be ready.
Most of the transfers are near shore anyhow. And, you know, the commercial guys, the container ships, you know, they're, the guys here at Virginia Port Authority, right, fly, they actually physically swap CDs for sticks with the manifest so they don't get cyber stolen.
Right.
Right? And,
Yeah, we're doing,
all that kind of
There's some stuff like that that we don't talk about a lot that I could talk to you about, though. Okay. Blair?
Just a specs question. I noticed that the drones don't actually touch the ground when they deliver.
Right.
Legs that extend. Like how long are the legs on a drone?
So that we lower it down by tether. So there's a little winch here. So we can deliver from as high as 200 feet in the air or as low as 80 feet. We typically deliver from 80 feet. It goes over, it lowers down to 80 feet above the ground, tether goes down, sets it on the ground, comes back up, gone.
Quickly, too.
Quickly, yeah. I will answer this question because it's always a question that gets asked. When are we going to be in flying taxis? Right, everybody asks me that. When am I going to be able to get into a drone and fly across the bridge so I don't have to drive through the bridge, tunnel? I'm going to answer this for you. I'm not doing it anytime soon. In 1939, the first self-driving vehicle was displayed at the World's Fair in Ithaca, New York. And for 3 months, this vehicle drove all over the fairgrounds by itself. This is in 1939, right? And everybody went, oh my gosh, this is the future. Jetsons, we're going to be sitting in the back seat of the car making out while we're driving to pick up the kids. Everything was going to change. 80 years later, almost to the day, I'm in front of the Virgin Hotel in San Francisco getting ready to go to a speaking event, and they're going to have the new, I'm not going to say which brand it was, of self-driving car drive 238 feet from the parking lot to the front door of the hotel to pick us up. This is 80 years later. And in that 238 feet, it took out the back tire of a California Highway Patrol motorcycle and sideswiped a parking meter. Now, if in 80 years, I can't get a vehicle to drive on the ground 238 feet without running into something, are you ready to get into a fourth dimension with a vehicle that's flying around with nobody piloting it? There's your answer. I ain't getting one anytime soon. I don't recommend you do either.
I'm going to wrap it up.
Okay.
So first
She had,
of
there
all-
was one lady,
One
right?
more?
Yeah, she had her, there's two, right?
If you used any SBIR grant, SBIR grant,
We have done. We've had two. Where's Ryan? Two, or the Navy vessel one that we did, the Navy inspection one, and then the Wisconsin I think was it. But they're small. We haven't done very much.
do you want to do more?
Do I want to do more?
Yeah.
Desperately.
All right, I'll help you.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to ask you if there are any funding opportunities available through the infrastructure bill that might help you guys, and also you might want to sell yourselves to the Postal Service.
Sell yourself is a broad question.
Yeah, I got a whole lot of different responses to that. So we have talked to the Postal Service. The problem is I have dealt with disorganized organizations in my life a lot, not much more than that one. They are operating in a constant state of panic and surviving that makes it very difficult. You can't innovate when you're surviving. That's one of the problems with startups, right? That's one of the problems with underfunded startups, is trying to innovate when you're in survival mode is impossible. And that's a lot where the U.S. Postal Service is right now. They have no room for innovation yet. All right, that's it.
Wrap it up. Oh, Tim, go ahead.
Yeah.
Last question.
We have 90 new ambassadors for DroneUp. How can we support you? How can we support DroneUp? How can we help?
Yeah, so the number one thing is, and part of the reason we like getting out and doing these talks is we're growing, right? As you guys saw, we were 6 people, you know, when Joe and I were working on this thing back in the very beginning, eating hot dogs and trying to figure out how we were going to make money flying drones. We were 12 people in January of 2021. We're 550 today. And we'll probably be close to 2,000 by the end of next year. And that's not just drone operators. When you're growing a company like ours, that's HR, that's marketing, that's IT, a lot of IT. I mean, we're going to hire 100 people in IT in the next 6 months. So the best way you can do is tell them you heard about us. If you're comfortable saying so, tell them we're a cool company. You know, I think the thing that you'll find about us, and if you want to relay something, and I say this proudly with my staff in the room, we have an order of priority that we make decisions. And if you have to make a decision, there's no black and there's no gray. It's just black and white. There's a right and the wrong. And the order of priority that we make decisions at our company is what is right for our people, what is right for our brand, and what is right for our industry. We don't talk about the customer, which is very unique, because we believe that if we take care of our people, if we protect our brand, we protect our industry, then we're doing what we need to move the entire industry forward. And I think that's why we have the retention rate that we have. And our motto is people matter most, and we mean it. So share that.
Outstanding. Closing comments.
I have a question.
And that was it.
Where can somebody get a delivery in Virginia? What location?
Damn it. Kempsville and I don't know. Huh? Oh, yes, you in the back. What are the 3 locations we have in Virginia Beach?
That's Amy, by the way.
Parkway, Nemo, and Kimpsville.
Yep.
That is by,
All right, let me wrap it up. Comments. Thanks to Nancy Gurdon for not asking me if I remembered the demo from 1939. Okay? Second comment. If Spot's coming up my driveway, its days are numbered.
Shoots back.
Maybe my days are numbered. Listen, I want to thank everybody here. Thanks to Tom Walker. Thanks to the DroneUp team. This is the most, I just whispered in his ear, not in a bad way. This is the most exciting thing I've seen happen in Hampton Roads for a long, long time. Multiply this type of thing by 100, we're on the map. So we're done for tonight. I've got to wrap it up because our videographer is charging me by the word, and he's got that clicker going. There's smoke coming off of it. And so please, there's still 20 minutes of networking time. Please enjoy each other, not in a weird way, please.
No, in a weird way.
In a weird way, that's okay. But thank you all for coming. And our next event is going to be in Q1 of 2023. We're doing these. Tim may have mentioned it. We're doing these every quarter. We're alternating between the south side and the north side. We did the 757 makerspace on the peninsula. This one's here. The next one will be on the peninsula somewhere. We're trying to figure it out, but we're honoring and showcasing Newport News Shipbuilding, one of the largest, if not the largest manufacturer outside, or employer rather, outside of the military in Hampton Roads. Thank you to them, and they're going to be showcased. So this is what we're all about. Events, showcasing companies, celebrating the success of Hampton Roads. So again, thank you all for coming.